So thank you for inviting me here, and I'm pleased to seeing every one of you here in this webinar. My name is Chin Boon. I'm from Morinaga Milk Industry. So many of you might have already heard about our company before. We are actually one of the largest dairy companies in Japan, and we are also a key global probiotics manufacturer who are actually specializing in human residential bifidobacterial (HRB) probiotics. And in today's talk, I will be covering the uniqueness of our HRB probiotics, being your lifelong health partner around the gut, brain, and also overall wellness segments. So to begin, let us first look at the health problems in this modern age. Undoubtedly, we have been living longer than ever before, but the modern lifestyles actually bring their own perils. Over the last several decades, our diets have become more unhealthy, and many of us are living with a poor lifestyles, where we are actually experiencing high stress, lack of exercise, and also lack of sleep, and we have been using a lot of antibiotics. And all these factors are actually resulted in an ever-increasing prevalence of chronic conditions, including obesity, diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular disease, inflammatory bowel disease, and also mental problems. And it is very mind-blowing to realize that all these modern age problems are actually associated with our gut microbiota. So only until recent decades that people start to appreciate that the microbes that live inside our gut can influence our health. So there are actually trillions of microorganisms living inside our gastrointestinal tract, and they are believed to play key roles in maintaining our health. So they are associated with all sorts of our health conditions, from digestion to metabolism, from immunity to brain health. Because literally, the gut and the brain are actually linked. And any disturbances in its compositions and their interactions with the host cells may actually predispose to health disorders like colorectal cancer, obesity, and also infections. So all these microbes are actually consist of both good and also bad bacteria that coexist in our gut in a balanced manner. And therefore, it is important for us to keep the balance of our gut microbiota in order to stay healthy. So how do we actually maintain the right balance of our gut microbiota? So we never know how badly the lifestyle factors can affect the microbes in our gut. But there's one thing for sure that we can do to keep us healthy is that to keep our gut happy with probiotic supplementation. So probiotics have become a promising approach in maintaining human health, and they have been widely used in various food products and also dietary supplements in different formats. So I believe you have heard the word probiotics before, so as the words prebiotics and also other biotics terms. So prebiotics, probiotics, and even post or paraprobiotics are actually referring to different things. And it is easy for us to differentiate them. You have to just remember that probiotics are live microbes that are good for us. Prebiotics are actually the substrates like dietary fibers that feed the beneficial host microbes in our gut and confer a benefit. And symbiotics are actually the combinations of pro and prebiotics. And postbiotics is actually a relatively new term referring to the the compounds of the microbes, be that the metabolites that they produce or their microbial constituents that can actually have a benefits to us. And lastly, paraprobiotics are referring to, they are actually parts of postbiotics. They specifically referring to non-viable probiotics. So I think in the market now you can actually have easily find probiotics product, and all these products actually containing different bacterial species, which include Lactobacillus, Bifidobacterium, Bacillus, and others. So among all these probiotics agents, how are we going to select the probiotics that actually work for us and that is good for us? This is the most crucial questions. And what I'm trying to say here is that there's one tip for you to look for, whereby you should look for the Bifidobacterial strains that are naturally present in your gut. So this group of bacteria, we are call them as human residential bifidobacterial, HRB. And we reckon them as the ideal probiotics for human use because they are naturally selected by the human breast milk, as you can see in this figure. Through the test, we can see that only certain species are naturally selected by the human breast milk, and therefore they retain certain genetic attributes that make them more adapted to our gut environment, and they have superior physiological functions on our health. And bifidobacteria are also the first colonizers of the infant intestines, and therefore they are purportedly beneficial to us, whereby their presence in our gut is actually associated with healthy immune development and also many other health conditions. So HRB strains are naturally selected by the human breast milk for good reasons, one of which is folate productions. So many of you do not know that actually we humans cannot produce folate by ourselves, and we have to rely on our gut microbes to supply us this vitamin B9. And it is fascinating to see that only HRB strains have the capacity to produce folate. And further study actually found that one HRB strain, which is BB536, can even help to improve anemia conditions. So another benefits of HRB strain is that they have better capabilities to hydrolyze and eliminate harmful indigestible peptides that are derived from food proteins such as milk and also wheat gluten. So these peptides can actually cross the blood-brain barrier when we have gut dysbiosis, and they can bind to the receptors in our brain and actually cause harm to us. And these peptides are actually called opiate peptides, and they are actually associated with various mental health problems. Last but not least, HRB strains are also found to be superior at producing the messenger compound called indole-3 lactic acid, which is actually responsible for the communications between the gut microbes and also our host cells. And ILA have been found to have functions like immune development and also promoting neuronal differentiations. So with that said, HRB strains are actually having a better functions, and they are ideal probiotics for human use. So with more than 50 years of research on bifidobacterial, Morinaga have developed 4 main HRB probiotic strains, including Bifidobacterium longum BB536, Bifidobacterium breve M16B, Bifidobacterium infantis M63, and Bifidobacterium breve B3. So all of these strains are actually originated from healthy infants, and they are clinically beneficial for humans. And we believe that the natural choice of mother's milk, this is not the one that we select, they are selected by the human breast milk, and we believe that the natural choice of mother's milk cannot be wrong. They must be good for us. And so what makes our HRB probiotics so unique is that HRB are of human origin, like what I have mentioned. Therefore, they are highly safe for human consumption. And in addition to that, our HRB probiotics are also clinically tested to be beneficial at various targeted health areas for all generations, from babies to seniors. And most importantly, our HRB strains have excellent stability profile, and therefore they can be added into various products with a long shelf life. So I just want to give you some brief introductions about each of the strains. So Bifidobacterium longum BB536 is actually our flagship probiotic strains with more than 50 years of history. So it is backed with more than 200 scientific studies. BB536 is effective at promoting gut and immune health, protecting against infections and allergies, and also promoting healthy aging. So the next strain, Bifidobacterium breve M16V, is another flagship probiotic strain that is ideal for infant health. So it is backed with more than 90 scientific studies. M16V is clinically effective at promoting healthy growth and immune development and protecting against infections and allergy. And what's more promising is that M16V has been used in more than 140 neonatal intensive care units in Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore since 1994 to support healthy growth of low birth weight infants. And another strain, Bifidobacterium infantis M63, is a probiotic with good potentials for infant use. And in recent years, it also found to have beneficial effects on mental health in adults. And recently, it acquired South African GRAS status for infant formula. And the fourth strain, B. breve B3, is a probiotic strain specifically developed for weight management. And it actually has a patent on its anti-obesity effect in many countries worldwide. So you must be very curious how our HRB probiotics could help promote healthy living in the segments of the gut, in the segment of gut, brain, and also overall wellness, and how they can be our lifelong health partner. So due to time constraints, I will just show you some clinical findings here. So on gut health in adults, supplementations of BB536 for just 8 weeks is effective at eliminating harmful bacteria called enterotoxigenic Bacteroides fragilis, ETBF. So ETBF is one of the culprits for IBD and colorectal cancer. And it is interesting to find that in healthy adults who were the carriers of ETBF, by just consuming BB536, the levels of ETBF were significantly reduced. And BB536 is also clinically effective at promoting healthy aging gut. So as we grow older, we tend to have irregular bowel movements. Again, it is interesting to see that BB536 can help restore the defecation frequencies of seniors depending on their respective gut conditions. And moving from gut to immunity, BB536 here, you can see that it is effective at improving the natural resistance of seniors and protecting them against influenza infections. So the result is really fascinating that seniors who ingested BB536 were actually had better immunity, and they had much lesser cases of influenza infection. So then moving to metabolism, our HRB strains B. breve B3 was found to improve metabolic health and ultimately one's lifestyle. What we can see here is that B3 could help to reduce the body fat percentage and body fat mass in healthy pre-obese adults. And then moving to mental health, our HRB strain M63 was found to able to improve mental health status in flood victims who suffering gut conditions called irritable bowel syndrome and anxiety. And it is fascinating that by just 3 months of consumption, the mental health scores of the adults are actually improved significantly. And lastly, I'm going to show you the latest findings of our HRB strain B. breve A1 in the improvements of memory functions in seniors with mild cognitive impairment, MCI. So MCI is a common problem in older adults associated with developing into Alzheimer's disease. Within a few years if it is left untreated. And this RCT study is really good in a way that it is exciting to see a clear and significant improvements of memory functions after only 16 weeks of the consumptions of A1 in healthy adults. And such improvement is really remarkable. And so now you must be very curious on how to apply our powerful HRB probiotics for product development. So with excellent stability profile, our HRB probiotics can be added into different formats, such as infant formula, and also food products like chocolates, cereals, and ice cream, as well as dietary supplements of various formats. And with that, I would like to thank you for your kind attentions. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. And yes, I hope you will be enjoying the rest of this webinar. Thank you.